Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Psalms, the 51st chapter. All right, and this here, is when David had gone off, right, in his sin, his transgression concerning Uriah the Hittite's wife, and really Uriah the Hittite as well. So in here, as it says, a contrite sinner's prayer for pardon. Okay, let's get into it. Psalm 51:1, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, when Nathan the prophet came on to him, after he had gone in to Bathsheba, right, that's when he had laid with her. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. So here is praying to the Lord for mercy, right? To blot out, to basically, erase his transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. See, because David knew, right? He felt like a garment that was covered in, say, blood, right? Where blood is representing the sin here. And that's why he's asking the Lord to wash him, right? To be able to take that blood off of him, to cleanse him, right? Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. He's humbling down completely, right? Saying, I'm aware, I acknowledge I've gone off, I've sinned greatly. It says, and my sins are ever before me. Against thee only have I sinned and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. And Paul quotes this, right, in Romans, Romans 15:4, or Slakia, Romans 3:4, right? Let me go there real quick. Right, so it says here, Romans 3:3, for what if some did not believe? Shall their faith or shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? Right, which basically he's saying, the unbelief of some does not make the Most High unfaithful. Right, it says, true, some of them were unfaithful, but just because they were unfaithful, does that mean God will be unfaithful? Verse 4, God forbid. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar. As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. Now the wording here, is can be a bit tricky, but what he's quoting is going back to Psalm 51:4, right? It says here that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. All right, so reading this, let me see what's a good translation here. The NIV, it says, not at all, let God be true and every human being a liar, as it is written, so that you may be proved right when you speak and prevail when you judge. And he said that because to highlight the weak and sin-prone human nature. And because of that, the Lord is always justified in his judgments, right, when he speaks and when he executes them, because we're the ones at fault, right? The Lord ain't gonna judge and then he's the one at fault. No. Okay? So this was proof, that when the Lord judges, he's justified in his judgments. Verse 5, behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Right, it says here, for I was born a sinner. Yes, from the moment my mother conceived me. Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. But you desire honesty from the womb, teaching me wisdom even there. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. So he's asking here for the Lord, right? He's saying, Lord, I was born a sinner, right? The scriptures say, Paul said that the creature not willing was made subject to vanity. So, we're all really guilty, right? Where none of us are perfect. None of us are, the scriptures say all have sinned and come short of the glory. But he's saying, Lord, I acknowledge that. I know I'm a sinner. I'm not trying to justify myself. I just ask that you cleanse me of this, that you purify me, that you have mercy. Make me to hear thy joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. See, and the broken bones here being him, right? He's likening himself onto being broken by the affliction the Lord has put on him. But he's saying, Lord, have mercy on me, so I can be joyous again. Hide thy face from my sins. So don't look at it, right? Blot out mine iniquities, erase it, like something that you don't want to see on a blackboard, and you grab the eraser and you erase it very quickly. Erase it, get it out of there, clean it. Create in me a clean heart. Give me like a clean slate in my heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. And that right there, especially verse 11, you can tell, right, that David was afraid. That's a scary, scary thing. One of the scariest things out there, for the Lord to take away his Holy Spirit from you. Because you didn't receive it of your own. But indeed, it is a blessing to have, nothing to be taken for granted. And when if the Lord decides to take his spirit back, you can't do anything about that. You cannot do anything about it. You can only cry and beg and beseech. And really, you can hope. You have a greater chance of convincing someone not to take it away from you than to give it back to you. The second chance of not punishing you versus after punishing you, giving you another chance is you're better off, if it wasn't taken away from you. So here David is praying to the Lord, understanding the importance of the Holy Spirit of the Lord, that the Lord does not, because he saw what happened to Saul. See, and the Lord took his spirit away from Saul. So David knew. He knows once that Holy Spirit leaves, it's an evil spirit that's coming. And boy, is that terrifying. Verse 12, restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. See, restore that unto me, that I may go back to that, the joy that I had of trusting in you. Okay, it says here, verse 13, then will I teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. See, I'm gonna proclaim your ways. I'm gonna proclaim your mercies abroad. Okay, and likewise, we're doing that now too, right? In a sense, because see, we were transgressors and sinners at one point, and we were taught, and we were converted unto the Lord. Right? NLT, it says, then I will teach your ways to rebels, and they will return to you. Is that not what we're doing now? So this can apply to us now, right, in this sense. But as David is saying here, Lord, I'm gonna teach your ways. I'm gonna proclaim your ways. I'm gonna make public your righteousness, that others may come and join unto you and be converted unto you. Deliver me from the blood guiltiness, right? The guilt of blood, because remember, he was also guilty of the blood of Uriah. O God, thou God of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness, right? So deliver me, so that I can sing about your righteousness. I can praise you again. O Lord, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall shew forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else I would give it. So he's saying, Lord, I know it's not sacrifice that you're looking for. Now, it's not a sin offering that you want right now, or else I would have given that immediately. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. And that's why, even in this time, we're able to get forgiveness from the Lord, even without actually sacrificing animals, because the offering that we give up is our, broken and contrite spirit. Oh God, thou will not despise. See? So if you come to the Lord humbly, sincerely, the Lord will have mercy. Do good in thy good pleasure unto Zion. Build thou the walls of Jerusalem. Then then shalt thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with burnt offering and whole burnt offering. Then shall they offer bullocks upon thine altar. See, so in other words, set up Zion, right? Establish them in righteousness, build up their walls in terms of, through salvation, and then the sacrifices would be pleasing unto you again, right? And they'll be more acceptable because the ones who will be offering it will be, will be doing it in righteousness. Okay. And that brings us to the end of the book of Psalms, the 51st chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodesh. Until next time, Shalom.